Hello and welcome to Escape from Mount Backlog, one man's quest to defeat his game's library. Today we'll be looking at Abzu, one of those newfangled games that seem to be quite popular these days. Abzu is similar to games like Journey, Proteus and Flower, games that are typically identified by minimalist game design and art direction. Controls are easy to pick up and the games are typified with a lack of combat. Abzu was developed over 3 years by a small 13-person team, led by director Matt Nava, who previously was the art director on Journey. In contrast to Journey's desert setting, Nava wanted to change to a more vibrant and populated setting for his next title. He then decided to base his next game underwater, being inspired by his love of scuba diving. Nava began creating the pitch for Abzu before leaving that game company and founding the game's developer Giant Squid Studios. One of the main elements Nava incorporated was his love for ancient cultures and their artwork, particularly relating to the myths surrounding the concept of Abzu. The game was first announced at E3 2014 and it was later previewed at E3 2016. The game was first released digitally on PS4 via the PlayStation Network and Microsoft Windows through Steam on August 2nd, 2016. It later released on Xbox One through Xbox Live on December 6th of 2016. The game then received a physical release for PS4 and Xbox One. All of these versions were published by 505 Games. The game's title stems from Sumerian mythology, particularly the myth of the ocean goddess Tiamat and the freshwater god Abzu uniting to form all life. A reason this was chosen was that myths surrounding land-based life and their supposed origins in a cosmic ocean were a recurring theme in multiple world mythologies. The title is made up of the words Ab, meaning water, and Zu, to know, translated by the developers as Ocean of Wisdom. The use of the word played into the game's focus on the ocean due to its mythic connections. The Middle Eastern influences extended to the game's architecture and incorporated Nava's wish for structures to have meaning beyond being simple scenery or tools for player progression. The aim from an early stage was not to simulate diving, but instead captured the dreamlike feeling of ocean exploration. As part of his research, Nava experimented with other ocean simulation games and found that they were not, quote, fun. By removing any time limit or air gauge, the team sought to promote a relaxing sense of exploration. One of the main issues was giving the player complete freedom to swim around, including doing a full loop. This effect was normally held back due to camera difficulties, but Giant Squid managed to resolve the issue and allow for a greater range of movement. The meditation mechanic was added during later development as a means of allowing players to view the surrounding marine life and environment. When choosing their game engine, Matt was still the only staff member of Giant Squid, and so they needed an easy-to-use platform with tools and technology to create his vision. Unreal Engine 4 was still quite new at this time, but it was chosen after the team had vetted other developer software available. The team were able to use both Unreal Engine 4's advanced developer tools and expand the engine's functionality to incorporate unique elements such as visual behavior, vegetation animation, and underwater lighting. The artistic style was meant to portray a vibrant underwater world, but the team also needed to prevent activity on screen from overwhelming the player. So a stylized look was chosen to maintain both the game's artistic style and to reduce the amount of, quote, visual noise. The species of fish in Abzu were all based on actual sea life from the oceans of Earth, and to fit them into the game, each species was distilled down to its most distinctive traits. The team had tens of thousands of fish within the game. Their swimming styles were directly modeled on the behavior and physics of real fish movements. The sheer number of fish presented problems with running the game, but the programming staff developed a method of simplifying each fish's animation without compromising the game's visuals, which, quote, multiplied the number of fish possible on screen by 10. The developers did take liberties in grouping together types of fish from different parts of the globe, which would normally not be able to interact, though this fell in line with the game's overall theme and the myths referenced. developers emulated the zones that each fish would be found in, whether it be a coral reef or a deep ocean where sunlight does not reach. The story, told entirely visually, drew from Sumerian mythology and the cosmic ocean motif. Taking place in a vast ocean, the player character awakens floating and begins to explore the surrounding sea. Ruins and ancient murals show that an ancient civilization which shared a symbiotic connection with the ocean at one point existed. As she explores, she is led by a great white shark to wells that, when activated, restore life to the local seas. In this aspect, the game has similarities to 2008's Prince of Persia, in that you have to use spiritual power from within to purify the environment. And that energy is also allegedly being forcefully harvested by pyramid-like devices, the development of which disrupted the ocean's balance and brought about the civilization's downfall. Or at least I think it does. I mean, the story is told visually, so I cannot confirm or deny that. That's just what I've found online. The gameplay, or what little of it there is, centers around swimming with full freedom and solving basic environmental puzzles and unlocking what I like to call fish holes that, once activated, spew forth a species of marine life to repopulate the ocean. As for the music, it sort of conveys this dreamlike it's good. The music is good. It's serviceable. It's not as memorable as, say, the soundtrack to 2016's Doom, or as integral to the story as, say, 2016's Doom, but it's good. You know, I did almost drift off to sleep while playing, and I suppose that the music helped with that, being so... And then there isn't much more to say than that. It's a game. You can finish it in 2 hours, like I did for this video, but I guess that goes against the point of it. It's something to boot up after a long day's work and just zone out to. Swim around, see some fish, find one of those shark statues, meditate. And that'll just about wrap up this episode of Escape from Mount Backlog. Have you played Abzu? Do you plan to? Is it stuck in your backlog? It's no longer stuck in mine. And be sure to like and subscribe and share this video. I'm well on my way to 50 subscribers. And also, while you're at it, check out Nanobot's channel. He's a buddy of mine who's been playing Ark Survival Evolved and is trying to harvest and tame 100 dodos. The man's insane. Go check him out, please. And tune in next time when we look at something with, I guess you'd call it moon logic?